Well, folks, we're visiting today with Kristie Tenney and Lauren Winans. They're with a new initiative here in West Virginia called Mountaineer Mile. Ladies, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to learn more about your initiative here in West Virginia.
Positively West Virginia. Positively West Virginia.
Positively West Virginia is powered by Breezeline high-speed fiber internet and sponsored by Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, and Humble Influence. With the help of these sponsors, we're able to share the positive business stories of West Virginians, including the one from today's episode.
Well, Lauren, Kristie, thanks for being on the podcast again.
Yeah.
Lauren, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about Mountaineer Mile.
So, funny story of how this came about. Kristie Tenney here, the county commissioner in Upshur County, she reached out to me last, was it August, September, and said they had a new program called the Rent-A-Pet program. And would I want to put a dog on television and see if we could get it adopted? Well, Kristie and I did that, and these dogs were flying out of the shelter before we even aired them on TV. So it was really successful. And I ran into somebody, and I had just saw on TV where the Governor Morrissey, said, hey, West Virginia needs to get healthier. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to start this Mountaineer Mile initiative. I ran into somebody that worked at the dog pound, and she was like, hey, you and Kristie are taking off with these dogs. You could take dogs walking, your Mountaineer Mile. And I'm like, Kristie, I got it. We are going to help the governor. And she's like, how? And I'm like, we're already getting dogs adopted. Let's take them on this Mountaineer Mile walk. Let's get ourselves healthy. Let's take the dogs walking. And then Kristie had a clothing company. So she was like, I'm going to make a logo. We're going to do this. And then we got the governor and his party's attention. And he was like, hey, guys, keep going with this. What you're doing is working. So here we are.
I love it. So, Kristie, tell us a little bit about your involvement with this clothing company and how this whole thing really took off.
So to this point, Lauren and I have really just donated over 200 shirts and mug stickers and go on the computer and different things, really because we're just so passionate about the initiative. We really support the state's initiative. There's the support now at the state level for this program, and we think now is the best time to be able to share that. So we have did all sorts of crazy things where we stop people on the street and try to share with them how important it is to walk 10,000 steps a day, of course, is our average, but let's just start with a mile. Let's take it one step at a time. We know here in West Virginia, our youth has the highest obesity rate really in the nation right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to turn the tide. We have to make a change.
Yeah, one of the things you both may not know is one of the reasons we started this podcast back in 2017 was more or less a passion project of mine, because I got tired of seeing West Virginia at the bottom of all these good lists and at the top of all the bad lists. Obesity, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How can we make a difference in West Virginia? We got to start talking about the good things. So this is a great thing that you all are doing. So I'm very excited about that. So when did the initiative Mountaineer Mile get started then, officially?
I think Kristie said April.
Yes, in about April, the governor had brought this initiative out. He talked with the tourism office. They began putting Mountaineer Miles in our state parks. And so you can see those Mountaineer Miles all throughout the state, but we just want to continue to help that grow.
So is that like a marker where you can start at this point and here's the mile that you've just walked?
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's a great idea.
Yes. And then when the governor was coming to our areas, we started getting with him and walking the mile with him and getting to know each other and getting to know, where he thought this should go. And then he started introducing us to more people in his cabinet, I guess we would say, right? And we started giving them ideas. They'd give us ideas. And so it's really just continuing to grow. We have so much support from the governor's office, but we really just want all of West Virginia to support us, supporting this. We want you to get healthy with us.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Kristie, I think you said take one step at a time.
That's right.
And the way you walk a mile is you got to take the first step.
That's right. And we didn't become one of the most unhealthy states overnight, did we? That happened over a period of time. And so to reverse that, we really need to work over a period of time. And we need everyone to join in to do that.
Yeah.
It saddens us to see that our youth, and as you said, one of the reasons you started the podcast, our youth, and in West Virginia, we're looked at as an unhealthy state. We want to change that. We have a beautiful state, one of the most beautiful states.
And the best people.
And the
Of course.
best people.
We do, though.
Right?
Yeah.
And we care about each other in West Virginia, and we come together. So let's come together for this, and let's make West Virginia healthy.
I love it.
And I just love the idea of being able to help our youth. I think that they don't have the knowledge of what really healthy living is. We've had just plentiful testimonials shared with us last week. Lauren and I reached out to only a few individuals because we had spoke to the Cabinet Secretary of Health, Dr. Singh, and they asked for a few testimonials, and we'll share some of those with you here today. But one of the most beautiful things is that some of those individuals had shared just since April what a change they made, not only weight-wise, but getting rid of some of their medications. And we had a local gym teacher reach out to us and say, I want to be part of this because our youth right now, they're not moving enough. Yeah. And so she's challenging her students starting right now. Her name's Jenny Bennett, and we want to challenge all of the schools to be able to say, let's challenge our students. And every quarter, they're going to see who can walk the most steps. They're taking some time out of gym class to do that. And we're excited to be able to see that just spread through not only our state, but to our youth.
That's fantastic. I'll share something with you all and how that can make a big difference. It was approximately 25 years ago. I had I'm a member of the Morgantown Rotary Club, and we had a speaker come in and talk about an initiative that WVU Medicine was putting out called Walk 100 Miles in 100 Days.
Okay.
And so it was walking a mile a day. And the speaker said, you don't have to go out and run. You don't have to go to a gym. You can just start walking. Start walking a mile today. And I heard that, and I had just gotten coming back from a doctor's appointment that week where my doctor said, you're going to die early if you don't start taking care of your health. And so that night, I was inspired, and I didn't want anybody to see me, like in my neighborhood. I lived on a dead-end street in Morgantown. And so I went out, and I measured a tenth of a mile on my vehicle, and I did that 10 times. And that first day, and I did it at night when everybody, when it was dark and nobody could see me out there. And I started doing that. And to this day, I have not stopped.
That's awesome.
Wow.
With my fitness journey. I'm 60 now, and that one inspiration got me on the track of saying, hey, I can take better care of myself. And so what you all are doing, encouraging people to walk a mile a day, is amazing. And it's going to work. It's going to work.
So
if people just do it.
The exciting thing is, too, we started getting some local gyms to compete.
Oh, cool.
And that got other people to compete. And one of the best things, I think, Buchanan Upshur High School soccer team, they are so competitive. And these boys are getting so into this. And I saw their coach randomly a few days ago, and he's like, my numbers are looking really good. And I'm like, that's why we're doing this.
Yes.
That's our
encouragement.
Youth. Yes. That's encouraging that those boys want to beat us. They want to beat these old women in their eyes at the steps, because we're all like, maybe if we make it a competition, we'll see who gets the most steps in the month. More people will join in. And so just doing fun things like that is how we're trying to keep spreading it. So far, we've got into Elkins, Lewis County, Huntington. We're bringing it to Morgantown. I mean, we just want to keep it growing.
Yeah, that's great. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back.
In a world obsessed with leadership, what if the real key to success is followership? We hear it all the time. Be a leader, take charge. But what if the most impactful people aren't the ones leading from the front? In Humble Influence, I explore how humility, collaboration, and shared purpose empower followers to create meaningful change in business, organizations, and relationships. Discover the strength of true followership with Humble Influence.
Folks, we're back. We're visiting with Kristie Tenney and Lauren Winans. They're with Mountaineer Mile. It's a health and fitness initiative really brought to light by Governor Patrick Morrisey here in West Virginia back in April of 2025. How is it going right now with the initiative? How do you feel like you're getting momentum?
We are getting momentum, but we still need more people to join with us. I mean, this isn't about which political side you sit on. This is about all of us getting healthier for ourselves, for our children,
Great
teaching
point.
our children healthy habits so that they live longer. We came up with a little slogan, a happy, healthy Mountaineer makes a stronger West Virginian.
I love it. Yeah.
And that's what we want,
That's catchy.
you know?
Well, how do people get plugged in?
Well, really, you could just do that within your communities, right? And as this initiative continues to grow, you're going to see opportunities out there to join and pledge your Mountaineer Mile, but really just sharing with others. What we're seeing is that through some of the testimonials that we received last week, just being able to share with your neighbor and your friends and have accountability
Let's
partners.
go for a walk.
Let's go for a
go.
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust the process. It's not going to happen overnight. Let's help our children. Let's help our neighbors. Let's help each other.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is important, I guess, as a byproduct of fitness is the energy that you get. Right. A lot of times people say, "I just don't have the energy or the time to go walk a mile," but
Right.
it literally doesn't take but a few minutes. Right.
That's right.
Depending on your pace, of course, and whether you're on flat or if you're walking on a track or in a neighborhood or whatever. But it is a great way to just get out, get some fresh air in your lungs, and the energy that you get by getting fit, getting the blood flowing is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Walking wakes you up. So if you're sleepy, go for a walk.
That's right. And we've seen it through our CEO and president of St. Joseph Hospital, WVU Medicine. He
Yes.
started the initiative
love
with
it.
his staff, and they are now taking around their parking lot a mile during lunch. So it doesn't matter whether you're the CEO or president of the hospital, or you're the gym teacher trying to motivate, or you're just in your neighborhood and want to get your individuals motivated as well. You know, Lauren and I like to go expand beyond walking and share with others. We just want to get you moving. So we've did some really fun things.
We have.
We went to the senior center and did line dancing, and we
With a dog. With an adoptable dog. We did.
we
Oh,
weren't
boy.
as good as
No.
all of the seniors that were there line
Oh, that's
dancing,
great.
but
Yeah.
we had a good time.
Did you wear boots? I just got to know. I mean,
Well, we always wear our matching tennis shoes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
become a thing.
that's the thing. Okay, good. That's great.
We have to match.
So this is obviously a statewide initiative. Can we share some of the stories that you've seen? Maybe some of the testimonials.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the testimonials was from the director of marketing at St. Joseph Hospital, and he said that the Mountaineer Mile has motivated me to be more intentional by adding steps into my day and prioritizing my health. It's encouraged me to set new goals and to keep moving forward, literally.
Well, Kristie, how about another testimonial?
So a couple other testimonials was from our local gym teacher, and she said the Mountaineer Mile initiative has motivated me to involve my students. I'm enthusiastic about the challenge. We will set aside 2 days a week for our students to walk a mile each day. We will maintain during the semester a total and initiate a competition between grade levels. They will develop healthier habits and have fun. We also have one here from the hospital that says, since the launch of the Mountaineer Mile, it's really motivated me to become more intentional about getting up and moving. Walking a mile each day has become a simple but effective way for me to clear my head, get some fresh air, and make sure I'm getting my steps in. I've noticed I feel more energized and focused throughout the day, and it's actually been kind of fun to track my progress. It's a small habit that's made a big difference in my routine.
Yeah,
and they
that's
go on and on.
amazing.
You know, we
Yeah,
have
they go on and
testimonials
on.
here from some Lewis County residents that have lost weight, that have been able to get off their heart medication. And it's just so motivating to see in just such a short time the difference that's being made.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for reference, I want to talk a little bit about you all individually and your background.
Okay.
So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about your professional background and how you're, where you're at today in your career.
Where I'm at today. So I'm a singer-songwriter, and I ended up a television personality.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids, and as soon as they were born, I was like the hippie mom, and I wanted to take every health, everything I could for my kids. So we've been gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, refined sugar-free. So I already had the nutrition stuff down. And my kids are homeschooled, and they go to a little private co-op. So as far as getting movement in around the day, they do that. And I already knew these things, so they meant something to me. And then being able to promote this on television was exciting, because I'm like, hey, this will reach more people than if it's just word of mouth. Like if I'm on TV just keep going, repetitively, hey, we're doing Mountaineer Mile, other people are going to be like, what is that? I want to look into it.
Exactly.
So personally, for me, I wanted to get involved because of my children, and I was always into walking anyway. I ran a dog walking business in Nashville, and I never stopped walking.
Well, the big question that's going through my head right now is, have you considered writing an original music piece for Mountaineer Mile?
That might be what I need to do. That's a good idea.
I
could sing it. We could have the jingle.
Yeah, I think it's.
I like it.
It's like a natural. Kristie, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your background professionally.
So I have owned a graphic design company for over 15 years.
Amazing.
And I've been a county commissioner. This is my 7th year. So
Wonderful.
I ran for county commission when I was 41 years old. And my dad actually passed away when he was 41 years old. And it just taught me that life is short. And what do I want to do in this short time that we're given here on this earth? And so really I just try to serve the Lord and help my family as much as possible, and I want to help my community. That's really why I ran for county commissioner, and that's what I try to continue to do. Lauren, I'm so thankful for her. I think that we make a great team, and we're able to go out and do that. We have my husband and I have been married 30 years. We have 2 children that are married. We're blessed to have 2 grafted-in children that are wonderful, and we have 6 grandchildren.
I love it.
So with those grandchildren, we've always been a pretty healthy family, but, I was sharing with Lauren even on the way up, as much as our children were college athletes and we were a healthy family, there's still so many things that I didn't know. And you spoke about the Rotary. About a year ago, I had some blood work done at our local Rotary. Don't usually go to the doctor unless I'm very ill. But I had some test results that weren't great. They weren't terrible, but they weren't great. And at that time, I waited about a year, and my husband said, you could get a trainer if you wanted to. And so it was the perfect storm. I got a trainer about the same time the Mountaineer Mile started, and your trainer's actually locally here in Morgantown, Valerie DeVito. She's been fabulous, and she's really changed my mindset on healthy food. What I was eating and I thought was healthy really wasn't what was the best and healthy. So she's not only helped me along the way, but you don't need a trainer to do this. You just need accountability, and that's really what I needed at the time.
Just start.
I feel better than I have in years, and so I'm excited to see how the blood work's going to change and get better, as I know it will.
Both of you have very powerful whys, and if you ever listen to the show, I'm all about the why, and so I think that's wonderful. This is Positively West Virginia. We'll be right back. Stay connected with an unbeatable deal from Breezeline. Voted best in Mountaineer Country for their reliable, high-speed fiber internet for a low cost, Breezeline is the best gig in town. Here at InnerAction Media, we rely on high-speed internet every single day to ensure we can deliver the best content possible for our clients and when we publish Positively West Virginia each week. That's why we use Breezeline. It's affordable, fast, and they're great people as well. Learn more about Breezeline's internet, TV, and mobile options at breezeline.com.
Your prescriptions are designed to keep you healthy, active, full of life. At Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're making vital medicine more affordable. Because when your prescriptions don't cost an arm and a leg, you can use those limbs for something more meaningful. Because life. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, West Virginia.
Folks, we're visiting once again with Kristie Tenney and Lauren Winans. They are with Mountaineer Mile. I got it right. It's a great health initiative started by Governor Patrick Morrisey here in West Virginia, encouraging people to get out there and walk, which is a great project, and I'm happy to have you guys on today. What is in terms of getting this initiative moving and getting all of West Virginia tied in, what's the toughest thing you're facing right now in terms of a challenge?
Getting people moving, not in a bad way. Just the moving and shaking. I think Kristie and I are always saying God knew that we needed each other. We are both movers and shakers. We are persistent. We don't give up. We make stuff happen. And other people are busy. Life is busy, which is why we want to kind of go around and talk about how to fit this in to your life. I mean, I'm a single mom. It's not easy, but I'm all right. And I have a crazy Belgian Malinois for a dog, which if those are the police dogs. dogs.
Yeah,
So he requires a lot of work, a lot of walking, running. So I just try to take the kids and the dog and, we get out and we move. Sure. And there's people who work long day jobs and they're thinking, how do I do this? How do I make time for this? So I think that's the hardest thing, is to get them interested and keep them moving with us, because not everybody is as persistent as we are.
Absolutely.
And I think also helping to educate individuals to know that if you don't take care of yourself now, you're going to be having setbacks and in the future, health-wise, right?
Absolutely.
We need to take care of this one body that we're given.
Yeah. And I think, when I'm thinking about the Mountaineer Mile, I think it can be an all-inclusive program. I think of, like, my son is in a wheelchair. He's 35, but he can get on a recumbent exercise bike.
Yeah.
He plays Miracle League baseball. I've coached a Miracle League team for 23 years or so, and we have all athletes of all sorts of abilities, whether they're in a walker or a wheelchair, or maybe they have on autism spectrum or something of that nature, but everybody can move a little bit.
Well, and like you
to the best of your
shared,
ability.
you didn't want people to see you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, because they see us out in the forefront of it, they're like, I don't want to be out with those girls, like being on camera and I don't want people to see me do this. So they're just not doing it. Or they're not telling us they're doing it because they don't want it to be known. And that's okay. You don't have to sign a pledge and, write it in blood. Like, we just want you to move and get healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's great, actually. All right, so vision-wise, like, it seems like you two are driving this whole thing. What is the vision for Mountaineer Mile? What does that look like, say, in a year? I'll ask both of you the question.
We're in the schools. Mountaineer Mile's in the schools, educating the students, educating our youth of what healthy eating looks like, about moving. We set too much. We have devices in front of us too much, right? So we're in our schools. We're talking to first responders. We're in the nursing homes. We've been to a nursing home. And as you said, sometimes everybody's ability is different. Yeah. And so,
but they're still able to move.
Let's meet you where you're at, and let's get
to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's not just sit and watch television and be on our devices. And so we're just everywhere you look. And really, Lauren and I've shared this over and over, and I know we have here today. We want people to be able to look at West Virginia and say, there's something different about West Virginia. Yeah. I want to be able to go there, and they're just living healthier lives there. So that would be our vision. I think back in the late 1990s and the early 2000s, we really changed into an unhealthy state. Before that, we were sitting about the middle. And again, that didn't happen overnight, but it's changed dramatically at that time and continued to decline. So let's make that change happen. We have state officials right now that's supporting this cause. Yeah. What better chance to take advantage?
You bring up a good point, Kristie, and I think about, people may say, well, it costs a lot more to eat healthy, or in order to eat organic and all this stuff, it costs more money. But honestly, if you're a prudent shopper, you can create meals that are healthy.
Absolutely.
Lauren, you mentioned refined sugar as part of your list of things.
Yes.
And another bearing of my soul, since January 1st of this year, I've been sugar-free. Okay. Which I had a massive sugar addiction. Getting off of sugar was very hard. It took 3 months, and I'm still struggling with it. But how I feel, to your point, Kristie, feel so much better. My head's clear. But just if you look at the ingredients on most of the items on the store shelves in the grocery store, everything contains sugar. It's like mind-blowing. Potato chips, sugar. Like, why is there sugar in
pasta sauce, sugar. Yeah.
But you can find the sugar-free varieties, and if we could just take that step and get out there and start walking on a regular basis, putting one foot in front of the other, get started, you'll see that it's going to make an impact. And, I loved what you said, Kristie, about, we're here for a short period of time, and how can we make an impact with whatever we're doing. And I think the way we can do that is by being healthy for our families, for ourselves, for our communities, for our employer, whatever role you're in. I think it plays a incredibly important role. So a kind of went off on my soapbox there for a minute, so thanks for letting me do that. It's a passionate issue for me as well. So I want to shift the focus now and talk a little bit about leadership. Both of you all are leaders. You're leading this initiative. You're leading your families. You're leading in your community and the roles that you serve. I want to ask the question of both of you. When I have leaders in front of me, I always like to pick your brain to say, what is the thing that you think is most important, like an attribute for a successful leader today? Kristie, I'll start with you.
Servant leadership.
Servant leadership. What does that mean to you?
Seeing how I can serve others. And that's really the heart, where my heart is. I try to serve no matter what role I'm in.
Yeah, that's important. Service above self. That's the Rotary motto.
Service above self. Yes.
So that's great. Lauren, how about you? What do you think is the most important attribute of a successful leader?
I'd have to say the foundation of Jesus, same kind of like Kristie said, but if you don't have Jesus as the foundation, everything will fall apart. So obviously he served, he wants us to serve. And I definitely think if you have that knowledge of, well, Jesus loves me, if I mess up and it's not perfect, he's still going to be there. It doesn't matter what happens, you got him as your rock.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have that belief?
Well, there's plenty of people who don't, and it's not my job to push it on them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not our job to push it on them. But I would say I've learned it within myself. If I trust in the Lord, everything will go his way, not my way.
It's it sounds like it's a pretty good place to have a center where you have this center where that's where you're grounded. That's where it all stems from.
Yeah, I don't think I could lead anything if that wasn't the center of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's very encouraging to hear both of you talk about that, and I thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Now, as you're thinking about getting plugged in, starting West Virginia Mountaineer Mile, what would you say to others that are out there thinking about maybe starting an initiative? Like, it's daunting. It's huge. How are we going to even get started? What would you say? What kind of advice would you give to somebody thinking about getting plugged into something like this?
Consistency is the key to anything. And I would tell them, stay consistent with it. Like I said, the people who watch WBOY might be super tired of seeing me walk and get a dog's adopted. But, somebody who hasn't seen it yet, they're not tired of it.
That's right.
And it's going to keep spreading. And now we have this app where you can watch us all over the United States. So somebody who is friends like Kristie and I, they could be watching that and be like, hey, let's get, Maryland healthy. We don't know. It's not, I have no idea what's going to come about it, may or may not.
Yeah,
but don't give up.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
How about from your perspective, Kristie?
The same. I would agree. A consistency over time. Trust the process.
Yeah, I like that. When we started Positively West Virginia in 2017, it was myself and my mom were our audience. Now each one of these episodes is getting between 50 and 60,000 views, which is pretty cool. But it started with one or two,
right?
And then I never gave up. So all these years later, hundreds of episodes later. So I agree with that.
Yeah, and maybe just try to get yourself 1% better every week.
Yeah,
get 1% better every week. At the end of the year, look how much farther you've came.
And I think you have to also, when you're in an initiative like this, it's easy to get discouraged, I bet, and you may say, wow, we've been at this for 5 months now and it hasn't really grown like we want to, but you got to keep plugging away.
We keep plugging away.
Yeah.
We never thought
we
had a pageant queen use this as her platform.
Yeah.
And who would have thought that just because of Kristie and I, somebody would take this as their pageant platform with mental health. And she was talking about how she's a first responder. So mental health goes with walking and how important it is.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. There's little things that have happened along the way, I think, that keep giving us the hope that, hey, this is going to do something positive.
Yeah.
We spoke to an All-American that is born and raised here in West Virginia, but went to Alabama State, and she was a swimmer there. So she's sharing that initiative and tracking her miles swimming. And as we're doing our competition, she's sharing that with us. So how exciting is that?
Yeah.
We have the director of the County Commission Association. We've really had her support. She's trying to share that to other county commissioners, and every chance that we get, she tries to share this initiative with them and what we're doing. So thank you to Melanie for that.
Yeah.
And she's just really been supportive of it as well.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mentioned that walk 100 miles in 100 days, and I remember listening to that speaker at that Rotary Club meeting that day. She said, if you're cutting grass, and I can't remember what the equation was. It may have been like 30 minutes of walking was a mile or something like that. She said, if you're cutting grass,
you're walking
for half an hour, you're walking. So count that in, and so
that's upper body.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Especially in West Virginia, you're typically going up and down hills and stuff too. So you're working the quads and everything. So that's really cool. But
and
I
think
think
our governor, Jim has really shared what beautiful state parks we have.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And so let's utilize them and get out there and get moving.
Hiking.
Tourism office has really tried to push that as well. So
and here in Morgantown, we have the rail trail. There's a rail trail system throughout West Virginia and different communities. So there's lots of areas, but I even take it back, to those early days of my journey. Just get out in front of your house and start walking, walk up and down walk around the block a couple times.
Yeah, because you can't start everything at once. If you have the mindset of, I'm going to go walk 5 miles today, and you never walk, you're going to give up. So you have to just start slowly, just like you said, and keep going.
Yep, exactly. And the good thing about walking is you don't really need any kind of specialized equipment, maybe some walking shoes or something like that, but you just get started with what you got, where you are. And
no bad flip-flops. I've tried.
Yeah.
Replace those bad habits with good habits. Right?
That's good. Well, we've covered a lot in this interview. Is there anything else that you guys think our listeners should know about Mountaineer Mile or your personal stories?
I think, like Kristie mentioned before, about how to get it out there if people want to start it. They don't necessarily have to reach out to the governor's office or to us. Just start doing it and start spreading it. We're happy to give you information, absolutely, of what we've done, how we've taken it as far as we have. But, if somebody in randomly in Logan County, they don't have a way to reach out to us and they just want to start something, just start walking. It will eventually spread.
That's great. Now, is there a place for folks to come and learn about Mountaineer Mile or even get in touch with you? Is there an easy way for them to do that?
Well, right now, and this is continuing to grow, I think you'll continue to see it to grow. But the tourism office does have on their website for the state parks, you can see those Mountaineer Miles throughout the state.
Great. Awesome.
They also have right now some great opportunities that you can follow the waterfalls and you can log those and during your journey. So that's a great place to start. But we have spoken to the Secretary of Health, the Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Singh, and I think you're going to start seeing more and more of these initiatives out and more of a platform of where they can reach. And you can always reach out to Lauren and I on our personal pages as well.
That sounds great. We'll make sure we have links to all that on our social media and on the show notes so that people can reach out and get in touch with you guys. Our guests once again today are Kristie Tenney and Lauren Winans. It's been an honor to have both of you on the podcast to talk about Mountaineer Mile. I think it's an awesome initiative, and I just want to encourage you to keep going. This is important work that you're doing. I think it's going to have an impact on the health and wellness of West Virginia.
We hope so.
Yeah, and I'm just encouraged just to hear about this. Honestly, it's a great project. I'm a believer in getting out there and walking, and I just want to encourage you all to keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our guests once again, Kristie Tenney and Lauren Winans with Mountaineer Mile. That's a wrap on another episode of Positively West Virginia. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on our show, drop us a line on our website at positivelywv.com. And we, of course, appreciate your encouragement, sharing the great stories of Kristie and Lauren, and also that of Mountaineer Mile. Get it out there. Let's help get West Virginia healthy and get out there and walk a little bit. Maybe just do it tonight, 1 mile. That'd be great. On behalf of our entire Positively West Virginia team, including our producer today, Mr. Jimmy Murray, behind the controls, I'm your host, Jim Matuga. Stay positive, West Virginia.
We'd like to thank our partners, Highmark West Virginia, Freedom Kia of Morgantown, InnerAction Media, Humble Influence, and our studio sponsor, Breezeline, for helping to share these positive stories. If you'd like to become a sponsor of the Positively West Virginia podcast, visit positivelywv.com/sponsor.